All right, guys, welcome back into another episode of the Show Baseball Podcast presented by Beyond the Monster. I am your host, Andrew Parker, and today's episode, we are diving into the Washington Nationals organization. We got Erik Tolman on. Erik's got a fascinating story. He is a two-time Tommy John survivor, and he actually missed last year with a pretty gruesome leg injury, so he did not get to play in 2024. But he is back. He's healthy. He's fresh off winning the High-A Player of the Week. And he talks a little bit about his journey back, kind of some of the stuff that he had to face last year, obviously missing a significant amount of time like he did with Tommy John. So we get into that. We get into his start to the year. Obviously, he's off to a great start. He already got promoted up to High-A. So it's a fascinating story to hear. And he will be a return guest on this pod. But before I get any further, please, whether you watch me on YouTube, listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever it is that you get your podcast, please like, subscribe, comment, tell me I'm doing a great job, bad job, whatever it is. I'm all for it. But without further ado, let me shoot you on to the interview with Erik Tolman. All right, I am joined by Erik Tolman of the Washington Nationals organization. And Erik is fresh off winning a Player of the Week award for his performance there in High-A last week. And that's actually where I wanted to begin. I know that, obviously you didn't probably go into the week and think, oh, I really want to win Player of the Week this week. But it happened. And minor league baseball, obviously put your name out there as top performer for Pitcher of the Week there. So how does that feel, I guess, to be recognized this early?
It's definitely cool. And I guess it definitely gives you a little bit more confidence leading up to the season. It's one of those things where you don't play this game to get awards and things like that, but it's always nice, after a good week. When I checked my phone, I saw that I was Player of the Week. It was a good feeling. So I'm pumped about that. And that was last week. This is a new week, so just got to keep it going. And baseball is about ups and downs. So I had a good week last week. This week I could have a bad week. That's just part of the game. But just got to keep doing everything I can do to be prepared on the field.
Something that stuck out to me as well about your performance last week that led to winning the award was, you started one game and then you came in relief in another game. And I looked at a few of your games just even since you got up to Wilmington, and you have started a couple games and then you came out of the bullpen the rest. Is that I feel like people don't understand that it's not an easy thing to do. Like, you don't have a set routine. You possibly don't know when you're coming in the game, when you're coming in the game out of the bullpen, and when you're starting, you have a set routine. So how have you been able to flip that switch back and forth so easily and so quickly?
For me, honestly, I think it goes back to being prepared. So obviously everybody wants to have a routine to go through. This year have been a little bit different. It seems like I've been more of a utility type of pitcher. So like you said, coming out of the pen, starting a few games, but like I said, just being prepared and having that mindset to be like, I can pitch any day. And in fact, I want to pitch as much as I can. So whenever my name is called up, I'm locked in, I'm excited, and it doesn't matter I'm starting or relieving.
Yeah, that's I feel like I said earlier, I feel like fans don't really truly understand that it is tough to be, you might be starting this day, but then you're coming out of the pen a few days later or whatever, vice versa. And you don't get that routine that a normal starter would get or vice versa. Yeah. So I guess that leads me to, we talked about this a little off air, but you did miss last season with an injury, and you're coming back this year. You're looking good. It looks like you're in a rhythm. How good has that felt for you to get off to as good of a start as you have this year after, not being able to play last year?
It feels great, to be honest. I'm doing good, or I'm performing better than I thought coming back from this injury. But the main importance for me is staying healthy. And this is really my first full year of trying to play a full complete year, because the other years I've just been injured. So that's been my main focus, is if your body feels good, most likely you'll go out there and perform well, or perform as good as you can perform. So even though I might make a perfect pitch, a hitter can make a perfect swing on it and it's against me, but as long as I know that I put the work in and I'm going out there with the right mindset, that's what it's about.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like we talked about, off air, that you have had Tommy John twice now in your career, and obviously
Yeah.
you had a separate injury last year, and so unfortunately, you are familiar with missing, an extended amount of time. So for you coming back from an injury like that, and this wasn't your first time last year. What did you kind of learn about yourself once you did come back and you started building back up and had to get the strength back? Like, what did you learn about yourself this time around?
Honestly, I just learned how much I love the game. I mean, with my leg injury last year, for example, for the viewers listening and watching, I dislocated my knee, tore my ACL, PCL, LCL, hamstring tore off the bone, and then nerve damage all the way through my leg into my foot, which resulted in foot drop. So coming back from that, I mean, the biggest part was, man, I missed the game that I love playing, and you can't take life for granted, and it can change in a snap of a finger. So that's honestly the main thing. It's just how much I love the game, and then honestly how much I'm committed to it as well. So I mean, I think actions speak more volume than words, and that's what I guess what I'm trying to do right now is, obviously I want to play this game, but I know I can be an inspiration for lots of other kids or players out there who are going through certain injuries that maybe they don't think they can get through because of doubt. But in all reality, is it's hard to beat someone who doesn't give up. So if you keep coming back every day, putting your work in and having the right mindset, I mean, good things will happen.
So I've talked to you. You brought something up that I wanted to ask, and
Yeah.
I've talked to quite a few guys that are Tommy John. They're either in the middle of rehabbing from Tommy John, they're fresh off of it. I've talked to guys like in all different points of the recovery, and for yourself, I think you brought up something like pretty unique where, guys that are going through rehabs, whether it's like you said, for your, very gruesome knee leg injury, and then, guys that do tear their UCL, you're out for an extended period of time. And what that can do to your mental aspect as well is kind of tough. And I think that's something that's not looked at as much. But, for yourself going through a long rehab process like you did last year, what kind of things did you do to kind of keep your mind from, I guess, like being drugged down? Like, obviously the mental side of it is tough. Like, you're not able to be out there playing the game that you want to play. So what kind of things did you do to kind of stay busy and keep your mind active?
Yeah. Well, firstly, for the first like month or two after the big leg injury, I mean I was down into like a ditch, man. I was pretty bummed, pretty depressed, wasn't eating, just was not being me. And then when I turned that around, it's because I started hanging out with like my roommates and my friends a little bit more. So even if I didn't want to hang out, I would just be around people to uplift my mood. And along that, a lot of music. Honestly, I was one of those kids in the last year or even 3 years now with the Tommy Johns, just always having headphones in, and I'm a strong component on what you think is what you become. And I think with like a lot of music that kids or people listen to these days, it's a lot of negative type of music. And I like to think of more positive and optimistic and, going for your dreams, not giving up. And I think that's a key component on why I'm here today. Is just, you know what, putting that into my mindset and truly believing it.
Yeah. And I think, like I mentioned, I don't think people understand that professional sports is probably one of the only, in particularly baseball, where you have like the torn UCLs, even the ACL, and I mean all of that stuff. It's a long recovery, and you physically cannot do your job that you're being paid to do and that you want to do. And it's like people like me like don't understand that, because it's like I've never had, like, I could break my arm and I could still sit here and do my job, my day job, and all this other stuff. So I don't think people realize that you guys just get like your like livelihood just ripped from you just because of an injury that you're doing for your livelihood. So I think that's a very underrated aspect of you guys getting injured, especially in minor league baseball. I feel like it's not talked about as much.
Yeah, no, it's definitely tough, but I mean it's one of those things where I think it's, to make it to the big leagues, it's everyone is talented, everyone's super skillful, but I think it's the mindset that is what separates the minors to the bigs, and in the end. So, yeah, that's what I think.
All right. Well, I do want to get to a little more positive stuff because I
Yeah.
know that the injury was not fun, and it's in the rearview mirror now. We're healthy. We're feeling good. So I want to talk about the spring training. Obviously, you come back, and did you have were you fully 100% cleared at the start of spring training, or was it more of a gradual build up?
I actually wasn't. So, I mean, leading up to it, the Nationals, in fact, were kind enough and let me rehab all last year in my hometown in Arizona. So I had my friends, I had my family. So really fortunate about that. And of course, in long distance, you don't exactly know how they are. You need to get eyes on the person. So I was always giving them updates, letting them know, sending them videos. And when I got to spring training, I think I surprised them a little bit. They were like, dang, Erik, you look really good. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where in spring training, I think they didn't know exactly what I was going to be like. And then I went out there and performed pretty well and didn't show any signs of fatigue in my leg or my arm. And yeah, the next step was affiliate ball and did well in low A in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And then now I'm competing and doing well up in Wilmington.
Was that always the plan, I guess, for you? Them kind of just okay, we're gonna send you off to Fredericksburg, just kind of get into the rhythm of affiliate ball again and just kind of see what you got. And then obviously you produce, and then they brought you up to High. Was that always the plan all along?
I'm not 100% sure. So, I mean, obviously with the coordinators and everything, they don't tell the players everything, which is honestly probably for the best because
Yes.
I mean, if you're a player and you're getting every single information of hey, we're going to keep you here or hey, we're going to promote you, it could totally change up your game. So, what I think was when I went in, I surprised them, and I think I kind of gave them, you know, I kind of had to make them send me to affiliate ball, and that was my goal. I wanted to go into spring training, open up some eyes, turn some heads and be like, wow, this guy, he really wants to play. It wasn't just he rehabbed, he came back, and he's just injured kid trying to play baseball. So I wanted to be the kid who came back from a couple big injuries and, like I said, turn some heads and dominate. So that's my goal.
Yeah, you had brought up a funny point. Every time I talk to development staff and around any team, they're always telling their players just be where your feet are. Because if you start thinking about I need to this guy's getting promoted, I need to get promoted, all this, you're just gonna go crazy. It's
Exactly.
nobody else knows. Nobody knows the plan.
Yeah, and you just gotta play against yourself. I mean, even though you might be better than some other guys, and some guys are getting more opportunities than you, can't let that affect you because you're playing against yourself. You gotta try to be the best of yourself every day.
And so, obviously, this is your first time in High. Since being in affiliate ball. I know it's a very, very small sample size. I know you just got up there this past month, but have you noticed anything differently? Maybe hitters approach differently. Have you noticed anything?
Yeah, small things I've noticed are they're not as from low A to high A. The low A players are a little bit more free swingers. So early in the counts, they'll just hop on the fastball or whatever. In low A, it's what I think it's a little bit more experienced college players, and they have more of an approach. I wouldn't say that talent is that much better, but they do the little things correctly, more correctly than low A ball. And what I've heard from double A and triple A, it's kind of the same thing. Everyone has good stuff, but it's just who can make the least mental mistakes and who can just be more consistent. And that's just kind of how it is.
All right. Well, now that you are officially healthy and you are back into the swing of things, you have an off day every single Monday. I want to ask, what do you do with your free time? What are you doing on the Monday off day?
I try to golf. Sometimes it's a little tough. Just maybe we might be traveling that day, or the body's aching, so I just want to rest a little bit more. But last Monday, I went golfing with two of my teammates. Shot 102. which is bad. But
Oh,
I haven't been very consistent in golfing just with the injuries, and last time I golfed was last month. So I was happy with hitting my fairways, but my short game and putting was pretty bad. So
I think you get a little bit of a break because you most likely weren't able to golf for a while last year, if at all. So
oh yeah.
I think you get a break on that one, a little pass. But
And then even with the two Tommy Johns before my leg injury, I mean, you got to cut out at least a year from those two as well. So yeah, my consistency is not there, but I'll have a couple great shots here and there. So
even though you are an Arizona guy, where there are some of the greatest golf courses in the country down there, that neck of the woods, they're everywhere and they're awesome. So
desert golf is definitely way different than golf out in Delaware or Virginia.
yeah, I just moved. I was living in Massachusetts for a while, and I just moved down to Texas. And golf down here is just very different, very, very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so getting in. So do you every time I get a pitcher on, they do say they golf. So you hit that one. Are you a video game guy? Like what else? What are some of your other interests?
Yeah, obviously I do. I mean, not obviously, but I feel like a lot of baseball guys play video games. But I mean, like a hobby that I actually like doing is I have my own like drone. So I have like a first person view drone. So I'll go out occasionally, and if there's like a river or train tracks, if there is a waterfall, there's barely any waterfalls, but I'll just get my drone and sit in my car somewhere and then fly it around, and I'll later that day make like a little video, like editing it, and it's just something I like doing. I like creating stuff, and maybe that's the lefty in me. I just like being creative. And I also think flying around in a drone makes you feel like a bird, and I think it's pretty damn cool.
I am guilty of anytime I see on Instagram Reels a drone video of somebody like exploring an abandoned place or like a river or waterfall, like you said. I'm guilty of watching it every time. So
Yeah. And that's what got me into that is after my leg injury and I was bedridden for a couple months, a lot of YouTube. And, I just came across of like DJI drones. I'm like, wow, this is one of the coolest hobbies in my opinion. I mean, you get to travel, these guys travel the world and they just fly their drone on volcanoes, mountains, oceans. And that just interests me a lot.
yeah, I don't watch as cool as volcanoes and all that, but I did just watch one. I think like literally a day or two ago of a guy like exploring like an abandoned amusement park with his drone, and it
Mm,
was very cool. I was like kind of like I don't know, I was impressed, but I
yeah,
do like it. I'm always guilty of watching those, so I kind of love that.
it is cool.
And all right, so I had a question I needed to ask you. We're going in the way back, the time machine here. Obviously, I used to live in Massachusetts, so I was always watching Cape League baseball. And if
Mm.
I remember correctly, you absolutely mashed at the plate for Yarmouth back in the day. Do you miss it at all? Like, do you miss stepping in the box? And like, I mean, I looked back at your numbers too. So I was like, I think this is the right name. And you were crushing the ball there at that summer. Do you miss that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do taking some G hacks up at the plate. I mean, overall, growing up, I've always done both, even at Arizona State in college. And I mean, pitching was always my priority. I put more effort and work into it, but hitting has, I believe, it always was a little bit more naturally to me. Don't know why. Could be because I have an older brother who played professional baseball with the Pirates, the Guardians, and the Giants, and he was a middle infielder. So growing up, I always had like a hitter mindset because I always talked to him and did really well in high school, and then had the opportunity to go play both ways in college. And yeah, in the Cape League, I hit a few home runs, and one of my teammates on my team right now, Gavin Dugas, he was with me, and he always gives me messes around with me on I should have been a hitter and things like that. But everything works out in the end. And in fact, if I was a hitter and I hurt my leg, it would have been career ending. But since I'm a pitcher and it's my landing leg, I'm able to keep playing and hopefully keep playing for a long time.
This is the only time where I wish baseball didn't completely get rid of pitchers hitting and have DH here. I mean, obviously I love the DH all around, but I did love seeing a pitcher who could rake. I loved it.
I love it too. Personally, I mean, I think that's more like baseball. It's more strategic, but I understand with the DH. I mean, keeps more players into the game, and I mean that's what we want. We want guys to get paid more to have more opportunities and things like that.
Oh yeah, 100%. I completely understand why. I just grew up in St. Louis watching like Adam Wainwright like hit nukes,
Yep.
and I'm just like love that. That's great. All right, I got one question left for you before I let you slide here.
Shoot away.
So I'm not sure if you're a goals guy, like if you like setting goals, whether they're statistic goals or whatever they are. They could be personal goals, whatever. But obviously you had taken home the Player of the Week award last week. And like we said earlier, it's not something you probably had in mind, one of your goals. But so for earlier in your season here, let's just say give you until the All-Star break, which is in July. Like what other goals do you have in mind? Like what do you have set for yourself that you would like to obtain by midseason?
Right now it's like mini goals. So the big goal is to stay healthy. That is the main big goal. And all the small goals, it's being able to mechanically stabilize with my leg because still every time I pitch, my leg isn't fully like it's never going to be like fully where it was before. And so I have to keep training it to stabilize whenever I land. And doing that, it's honestly just getting stronger. Another goal is to like gain weight. So I've always struggled on gaining weight. My normal base weight is around like 180 pounds, and right now I'm like 194, and I'm trying to get it up to 200. But just going on the road and being in minor league baseball isn't the most glamorous thing. So it's a lot of minor league stakes, which is PB&Js, and I mean, that's one of the goals. And right now, another one I am working on is the slider. I've been throwing a new type of slider, a harder one. My old one was like a sweeper type. Now we're trying to go for a gyro, harder type slider. So yeah, I mean, those are some of the basic goals right there. But overall, the main one is staying healthy, and that's just being prepared and putting my work in, and not doing too much, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And that was the very first time I've ever heard somebody refer to PB&J as minor league stakes. I like that. I'm surprised I haven't heard that before. I've had like 200 guys on here from minor league baseball. I've never heard that.
That's crazy. Yeah. They're good, but I mean, it's not like a big league steak.
Yeah, there you go. I thought you were going to reference like everybody's always eating Chipotle in minor league baseball. All the teams usually get it in AAA. It's usually all they cater, but no, PB&Js love it. Yeah. All right, Erik, I appreciate all the time. Obviously you gave us, and we're wishing you nothing but the best here for the rest of 2025. And I will say this before I do let you go: we do these in the off season. They're like longer form where they're like maybe like 40 to 45 minutes. We talk about like everything off the field. You're a great candidate for it because I can tell that you just like, I don't know, you're just great to talk to. So might have to hit you back up for the off season episode to do one and talk about a lot of things off the field. But Erik, appreciate all the time.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, let me know in the off season if you do want to talk a little bit more. I'd love to come back on and share some information that I have to help you out and your viewers. And I appreciate it, Andrew, for having me.